Hi there, my name's Caroline Larissy and I'm Chief Executive of the National Hair and Beauty Federation. Today I'm so pleased that we're actually relaunching our podcasts, which is absolutely great. It's about getting that real great message from people that are working and living within our industry. So my first guest is Ashleigh. Can I get you to introduce yourself, please?
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. Yes, I'm Ashleigh Hodges. I am the youngest female president of the Fellowship for British Hairdressing, and I am studio owner of MASH Creative Studio in East London.
Fabulous, fabulous. So this podcast series, we're really wanting to champion the hair and beauty sector, and we're looking, for inspiring stories. And I think, one of yours is absolutely fantastic. And I'd like to rewind right to the young Ashleigh.
Yeah.
And if you want to tell us a little bit of what inspired you to come into the sector.
So I grew up in hairdressing. My mum's a hairdresser and she opened her own salon when I was about 13. But prior to that, I started working in the salons that she was working in when I was about 11. Yeah. And it was that or go and watch my dad and my brother play football on a Saturday morning. So obviously a salon is so much more exciting to an 11-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And then I was really lucky because I got to see the process of her opening her own salon and that dream come to life for her. And I was just always in it. I was just always in and around the salon and the industry. And we were a Matrix salon at the time, and Matrix were, I believe still are, so good with their communities. So there was always within the town that we were in, Northampton, there was always some really great shows happening, education happening, and my mum was a big champion of always taking the staff to those things. So I was always really lucky. I think I remember going to a hair show and seeing Errol Douglas when I was 14, and so I grew up in the industry.
Oh, fabulous, fabulous. So, because a lot of people get an introduction to the industry, don't they? But when they go into the industry themselves, I know I had staff, and I had a little junior that used to come with a gran, and she used to come and sweep up hair, and she was always interested in the sector. And I think you just get that bite, don't you?
Absolutely.
The vibrancy and all the various different things within the sector, which is absolutely great. So were it college based you did, or was it?
So I did a one-day release apprenticeship. Yeah. So I was in my mum's salon 4 days a week. I'd go to Northampton College 1 day a week. But because I'd kind of grown up in it, when I left school, I went straight into the apprenticeship, and I kind of, not in a cocky way, but I kind of knew a lot of it. I could do a one length cut. I knew my base shades because I'd learned it all throughout the years. Yeah. So I progressed quite quickly through my apprenticeship, and I was qualified up to level 3 by the time I was 19. And then I was just hungry for more education. And like I said, we were a Matrix salon at the time, so I used to just go and sit at the front of every single class of every single Matrix thing that came to our area, to the point where they kind of got a bit sick of me, I think, asking all the questions. And at 19, they asked me to, I think I'd only been qualified about 6 months, and they asked me to go and be an educator for them, because they were like, look, just come, we'll teach you everything, and then you can go off and do your thing.
Yeah. Sounds like you're a bit like me, a bit of a visual learner. I was like that. As soon as I could see a haircut, I could do it. Do you know what I mean? And then when I went into teaching, it was one of the hardest things I found, to actually teach somebody that couldn't pick it up.
Absolutely.
Because it was like, why can't you do it?
Yeah. My partner, he's really dyslexic, and he has to break stuff down so much. And he taught me how to teach, because actually when especially because I'd been around it for so long, that I would watch it and I'd just do it. Yeah. And I'm lucky because it's in my blood. It's a natural thing for me. So actually, when it comes natural to you, it's hard to teach that. Yes. Yeah. So it took me about 5 years. I'm sorry for all of those that I taught in those first 5 years, because I probably was not a good teacher. But I'm a better teacher now.
Yeah, I think it's when you have that vibe to the industry and you know yourself, and you can pick it up so quickly. And I was a bit like you. I was a bit fast forwarded on my education and training, because I just got it. Yeah. And then when I went into teaching, and I think I was like a lot of salon owners, that I was getting college graduates that were coming through, and they were like, oh my goodness, they can't even do this. Yeah. We were doing a lot of retraining in the salon. Absolutely. And it was like, well, I think I need to go into education and training, because it's one of the things
I
want to do. But I was exactly like you. I had to learn how to break it down.
But I enjoy that because actually it sinks in for you even more. Like that's one of the things I love about teaching is as soon as I'm teaching it, it like clicks in your head too. Even though you know it, I can't explain it. You know it better, don't you?
Yeah, and every situation you learn, every learner you learn something different, don't you? And you can apply that as part of that, and it's all part of that, creativity and pulling things forward. So obviously you've done all your training. I mean, I'm old school, so I was YTS. Very similar model to the apprenticeship now, one day in college and the rest are as part of that. And so you worked in the salon for a period of time.
So I mean I've been pretty much salon based in some capacity throughout my whole career, but I continued working in my mum's salon. I progressed up and I would help her run it. Alongside that I was doing education for Matrix, and then I started being the assistant to Errol and started learning shows, and I applied for the Fame team. I was on the Fame team in 2012, and that saw me go to South Africa and San Diego and really kind of travel around. And I was 21 at the time. It was like shiny and new and exciting, and just showcasing straight off what our industry had to offer, which was fantastic.
And that's a big thing, isn't it, for anybody who's thinking about coming into the sector, that the opportunities are absolutely tremendous. What you can
they're
actually
endless, absolutely endless. I think that's what excites me so much is like every single year of my career I've experienced and done something different. Even now I worked on my first film set 2 weeks ago, and it's just I was stood there going, oh my God, I'm on a film set. I mean, I was in a trailer in an IKEA car park in Croydon, so it wasn't glamorous, but I was still there going, this is so cool. Like, and I've been in the industry now like 20 years and I still get those moments.
Which is fantastic. And that's something I think we need to shout about as an industry. You might start off as just a hairdresser, and there is no such thing as just a hairdresser. And I always say, even when I was working on the shop floor, every day is a learning day because you get new clients and new friends, isn't it? Because that's what it's all about. And I always say we're the hub of the high street, we're part of the community, and it's not about just coming for your hair or a beauty treatment or something like that. It's just about the whole community and the whole vibe.
100%. And I think that's one of the things that I love, and I no matter wherever I've gone with my career, I've always kept, I mean, I say I've kept my clients. I think they just hold on to me for dear life and I can't shake them. But I've always kept like my key clients, and I've always made sure at least like one day a week I'm always in the salon in some capacity. And I find that a really grounding experience, because I just feel like if I'm going to be on stage or if I'm going to be going and doing anything and I'm saying this is salon friendly or this we're teaching this or we're creating this for a campaign shoot, I have to still know what it's like being in the salon. But also like it's one of my favorite things. When you just strip it down, being behind the chair is such a lovely thing for us to do. And seeing our clients, and I cry with my clients. I laugh with my clients. There's like, you go through their life with them.
Absolutely.
And there's nobody else that kind of does that. There's no other sector that does that in the same way.
Absolutely not.
It's really special.
Yeah, it is. And you see generations as well. I mean, I was a bit like that. So I I got my business and then I decided to go more into the teaching side. But I used to work on a Saturday because I got those clients, and I did those clients for like 20 odd years. It was only when I had my little one where I thought I actually can't physically fit that. And I have actually got clients, because I've moved back into the village that I used to live. They don't speak to me now because I stopped doing the hair. I mean, how bizarre is that? But it is. It's about that. You done my grandson. My son, and all of the family sorts of things. And as I say, I've had little juniors that have actually opened up their own salons.
That's so
in
lovely.
the area, which is absolutely great. So it's really good to see that.
Well, there's like this lovely family tree within our industry that's either within the industry of like seeing everyone kind of who you've taught grow into who they are, but also this family tree of your clients and how you end up all connected within the community as well.
Absolutely, it definitely is, and it just takes years, and it's about the hub of that community.
Absolutely.
Isn't it? And I think sometimes you're right, you laugh, you cry with your clients. Sometimes your clients share things with you that they don't even share with their other halves and stuff, and you just think, oh my goodness. And sometimes you're a bit of a counsellor, aren't you? You know what I mean, on that sort of thing. And it's a true, sometimes I think it's a true privilege to be in sort of that position to support.
And I think that's why I still love being behind the chair, because it grounds you back into reality, especially with all the other things that I'm doing. Like I was in Paris last week for Fashion Week, and next week I'm back on the film set, and the week after that I'm on The Voice. So you're amongst all these people that it's glamorous but not, and everything feels really stressful but it's not.
No.
And then you come back to your clients and you're talking to a real person about their real life, and you're like, this is what's important.
It's groundsy.
And this is like, okay, this person's going through this, and that might be a lovely thing or a horrible thing or something difficult or something exciting, and it grounds you back in. And I think that's why hairdressers have such how do I put it? We have such a vast space for emotional intelligence.
Absolutely.
And I think that's something really special that we as an industry have. Yes, we're skilled, we have our craft, but actually as people, we have this incredible emotional intelligence to be able to hold space for that.
Absolutely. And I think that's probably, the main reason after COVID, everybody was crying out, for salons to be back open again. Because everybody had turned into Wookiees with all the hair and everything. But it was the same. It was that community, it was that interaction, and it was that support there as part of that. And I think that is the fantastic value we bring, to the UK economy and to the 100%. High street. I mean, it's one of the things that I say, if we hadn't got hair and beauty salons on the high street, what would we have? We'd have bookmakers, we'd have a few charity shops. That's probably about a corner shop, maybe.
Some
if
pubs.
we were looking, and that's about it. So we do bring so much to the economy, and I think that was one of the things where I need to obviously lean on our Respect Our Sector campaign,
100%.
which is something that we wanted to launch for quite a while. And it was really, when we were looking at everything, it's like hair and beauty businesses are really having a bit of a rough deal.
It's not easy out there.
It really, really is challenging. And I've been very fortunate that I've been able to go out and speak to some of our members, and some of our members have been with us, oh my goodness, 70, 80 years,
That's
which
incredible.
is crazy. In fact, one business was in part of us for longer than that, and she actually could have shown me medals from his great granddad.
Amazing.
Did that, and we got one lady, Dora, 89-year-old, still working in the salon, which was
still in the salon,
still working in the
Dora,
salon.
and
and her salon was it was beautiful, it was immaculate, such a lovely lady, and she was just so passionate about the industry. But I think that's some of the things that we've been talking about is the community and the support and that sort of thing. And one of the questions I sort of said to him, I said, we all know it's really challenging for businesses out there. The economy's not great. We've got all the various different things. And it was like, you've obviously been around for so many years. You've been through wars, you've been through depressions, you've been through so many things. And I think one of the things that really resonated through was about supporting that clients and supporting those local communities and being those hubs as part of that. And they all said, yes, we this is one of the most challenging times we've got at the moment. But they've also shown a resilience out there. And I think that's the real heart of our sector, because when I speak to these people, they'll say, oh yeah, we've been through wars and we've done this and we've done this and this has been happened. And it's just how fantastic people are just, bouncing back and coming forward and, and supporting as part of that. And again, that was one of the hearts of our campaign. It was like, we've got all these challenges that we've got at the moment, and I feel as an industry we're being ignored by the government. We really are. We look at some of the priority lists. We're not even on there. We're not in the top 10.
It's so baffling because not only as an industry are we as our sector, are we bringing in money? But actually, we feed into the rest of the economy so much. Like, we all know that if a client comes to us and we're telling them about a restaurant that we've been to, or maybe the latest yoga class or something, we know that client is then going to go off and spend that money in that place. Like, we recommend and feed into the community above and beyond pretty much any other sector that I know.
Yeah, it's about, the health and well-being. It's, it's about, again, that coming back to that counselling side of things, but also, on the well-being side of things, it is, therapies. Actually having your hair done is a therapy.
Absolutely.
Never mind going for a body massage or a treatment or something like that. It's just that well-being part that we're giving back. And I think for me, we need to be, on that priority list. We need to be shouting how fantastic we are. We need to be saying, this is a career of choice. Look at Ashleigh, look at me. These are the sorts of the careers. We're not just hairdressers. No. We're so much more, and the industry is so much more, and there's so many opportunities to be able to go there. And that's sort of where I'm sort of coming from on that. I mean, respect our sector. What does that mean to you?
Respect our sector. For me, as soon as you told me about it, it was like, yes, this is what's needed right now. Because actually, I think there's even people in our sector that don't respect it to the level that it deserves.
Absolutely.
And I think there's so much behind hairdressers that doesn't get spoken about. And it's very easy to talk about the negative, and it's very easy to say how difficult things are, or that people had got off on one sector doing this and people are off on another doing this. But actually, when we look at our industry as a whole, I just think it's this tapestry of creativity, and you can't get better than that. I have people within the industry that have multi-million-pound businesses. I have people within this industry that are my friends that are starting charities and giving back. I have people that are running art exhibits because their wig work is just so stunning that around the world, their wigs are being put in galleries. Like, there isn't another sector that can hit every single element, from education to business to creativity to artwork to film to fashion to community. Literally, there is no sector quite like ours, and I think that doesn't get shouted about enough. We don't get the respect in terms of, we automatically think that hairdressing, I mean, I got it when I started my apprenticeship, and so many people would say to me, oh, you want to become a hairdresser, but you've done well in school. And I'm like, yeah, but look at the vast things that I can do in this industry. Look at all the things that I can attempt and try and develop and grow within my career across my life. Like, one of my mum's clients, I always remember, she was one of those incredible women that had just lived this mental life. She was a rally driver.
Oh, wow.
She owned this little coffee shop that she ended up selling to Costa Coffee and having shares within Costa Coffee.
Wow.
And then she became one of like the most prized winning farmers. And
gosh,
that's
very diverse.
So diverse. And she was just one of these incredible women. And sadly, she passed away, and we went to her funeral, and her funeral just was full of all these crazy people from her past. It was that film Big Fish.
Yeah.
And I remember being there being like, that's the type of person I want to be. I want to have been able to have lived all these crazy lives. And I thought, how lucky am I that I get to do that in the same industry? Like, Annie went and did all these crazy things in so many different industries. Yeah. But I get to live this incredible, crazy life within the same industry. I get to have opened a business in East London. I get to have flown around the world and done shows in Vietnam and Thailand, and I get to have been backstage at Fashion Week shows, and I get to weave this tapestry of a crazy life in the same industry. And I think that's what's so special. And we get so much respect from other industries that I feel like we need to start doing that to ourselves. Absolutely. We need to start respecting ourselves, because the government's not going to take us seriously until we do. And I think clickbaiting and all these things online, like none of that matters.
No.
At the end of the day, we're a community and we're all there to try and help each other. It doesn't matter if you're a freelancer, it doesn't matter if you're a business owner, it doesn't matter if you're behind the chair or if you're behind the chair in a caravan in IKEA doing something for a film set. Do you know what I mean? Like no matter what, we're all there learning our craft, trying to earn money and trying to run our own individual businesses, whether that business looks like a column or whether that business looks like an expansive education site, or however you're navigating it. There is so much that our industry has to offer, and there are so many different businesses and variations of earning money that it's incredible.
Yeah, the diversity is absolutely phenomenal, and I absolutely agree with you. And I like the tapestry. I like how we feed into it, because we do, everything that we do actually feeds as part of the hair and beauty sector. And I think subliminally people don't realise that, and the breadth of the sector, and actually how we actually influence everybody's everyday life. As part of that. And there is the diverseness in the roles, across the sector, which is great, which makes us unique.
Absolutely.
I think for one of the big things is that we're a really highly skilled sector. And I always said, working in the salon, every day is a learning day, because every client is different as part of that. And that's one of the reasons why we did our top 100 influencers. Because, again, you're right. We have all this online, and it's really easy to have all these various different things on social media and stuff. Yeah. I learned to cut hair in a day. I learned to do this. And it's like, no, actually, it's a skill, and it takes time to develop and hone a skill. And anybody who's in a professional in the sector will tell you that. Yeah. And, it takes years to develop the craft. It's not about a quick, I can do this on YouTube, or I can learn how to paint nails, or I can do it as part of that. It's not that. And we put our top 100 influencers in for that fact, is because these are the people that are qualified, and they are working in the industry, and they are doing the influencing, but they're doing the right type of influencing for the sector. Yeah,
100%. And I think when I always get asked, like in interviews and for magazines and things, like, what would you tell your younger self, or what would you tell the people, next generation coming into the industry? And I always just say, be nice and learn your craft.
Absolutely.
Because that's what's going to get you in any door, whether it's to go work in the salon of your dreams or to go work behind fashion week shows. You need to be a nice person to be a hairdresser. Like,
absolutely.
You need that. You need, like we
Clients
said earlier.
pick up on it, don't they? They do. They know who they like, and they get that vibe.
Yeah, and you have to have that emotional kind of intelligence and that bandwidth to be able to hold space for people, no matter what, whether it is within your clients or whether it is, we get it a lot because we deal with a lot of singers and musicians, and when they sit in the chair, that's their moment to actually relax before they go on stage. So it's really important that you can hold space for that.
Yeah.
And your craft is literally what's going to get you anywhere. Wherever you want to be, you really need to hone it. And it's amazing that you can sit on YouTube and watch things and pick things up quickly. But actually, I mean, I've done so many different courses throughout my years, and I've done wig making, I've done cutting with Sassoon, I've done so much colour training, I've done my colour degree, I've learned how to physically make wefts from scratch so that I knew every little element of my career, so that whatever situation I was put in, I could handle it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's really special about our industry, is that you can learn in any degree.
Yes. And it can take you anywhere. It really, really can. I mean, my route was education and training, but I actually ended up working for an engineering and manufacturing training provider. Actually supporting apprentices on engineering programs. Who'd have thought a little hairdresser could do that? Yeah. You know what I mean? And doing various things. And I went and worked in Australia, and the Australians love
they love us
UK
British hairdressers,
without a doubt. And you can go pitch, but that's the great thing about a career within our sector, is it can take you whatever pathway, and it doesn't matter which pathway it is. And I think that's one of the things of why we're wanting to do these podcasts, is to we need to get that young talent back into the sector. Absolutely. And if we can show the opportunities are there, then that's absolutely great.
And I mean, I always felt really lucky that I was able to grow up in this industry and know the bandwidth that it could offer me, because I know so many people that come into the industry that don't know that that's available. There are always days where it feels hard. There's always days where you're like questioning why you're doing it. And if you're starting to do that at the very beginning and you don't realize that actually you're working hard for this big tapestry to come alive for you, I can understand why you'd start stepping back and going, oh, but my mates are there. I mean, I remember people saying to me, I can go work in Topshop because it was a thing back then, and earn more money. And it's like, but if I work hard now, I can earn all of this and be all over the world. Yeah, absolutely. And I had friends that would go to university, and I mean, I've got friends that are scientists that become bank managers, that are in marketing, and there was a point in my career where I was earning more money than all of them and traveling all around the world. Yeah. And I was thinking, oh my God, this is why. Yes. This is why I worked so hard for it all. Yeah. Because this is the life it's given me. Absolutely. And as you rightly say, the opportunities are just there for the taking. They really, really are. So let's see, what is Ashleigh's passions? My passions. Yeah. Tell me. What are my passions? My passions, so I mean, within our craft, my passion is colour. I absolutely love colour. For me, it's a science experiment with nature, and I feel like there's no other job that gives you that. Yes. There's no other job that gives you chemicals to play around with on a human being. Yeah. Like it's mental. Yeah. And so for me, that's pure alchemy. And then I love the buzz of working backstage and that stress and the adrenaline that you feed off of. And then my actual personal passion, I'm like a huge human rights activist. Okay, yeah. And I think that's why I've kind of worked my way through the fellowship, is because my partner would always say to me, Ashleigh, you can't save the world, you can only save your world. Yeah. And my world is our industry. Yeah. And that's why I'm always so passionate about talking about how amazing it is and really pushing it as much as possible, because do you think that's an ice cream truck?
It's the coffee van.
It's the coffee van. Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
No, I apologise. It's not my van out there.
Are we all good now? Is it finished? So I'm so passionate about our industry and pushing that, because that's my world. That's the world I live in, and that's why I really want to advocate for people of colour within our industry, the women within our industry, just our industry as a whole. There is so many incredible people working within it that get kind of overshadowed, and that's not a reflection necessarily of our industry. That's a reflection of the world that we live in. And actually, if we can start breaking that down together, then we make our little part of our world a nicer place to live for all of us. Absolutely. You know, we're predominantly female-led entrepreneurs. Absolutely. Which is always a tick, isn't it? But I think that is also one of the reasons why our industry, I mean, there's so many nuances to this, but I also think this is one of the reasons why our industry doesn't get the respect it deserves. Because women as a whole within our society don't get the respect when it comes to business in the same way that male-dominated industries get respected. And that's why we need to fight and be louder and shout louder about it. Yeah. Because, we say that we're an emotional creative industry and that we're proud of that, but just because we're an emotional creative industry doesn't mean that we're business led, doesn't mean that we can't go in and negotiate contracts and negotiate better deals for our businesses, however that looks, whether it's bricks and mortar or whether it's our education or creative business. No matter what, we can still be a business-minded industry. Yeah, and I think that's why there's so many different types of diverse businesses. And you're right, no one business model is right or wrong. You know, it's what that person, and I always say for our members, each one of our members is their own entrepreneur. Yeah, so actually how they run their business is entirely up to them to suit them.
we try and make them safe and legal. That's what our job is as part of that. But it's we need that diverseness of industries out there. And I think going back to our Respect Our Sector campaign, that's what it's all about. We've got a mechanism on our website as part of that where you can actually write to your local MP and you can actually show your own story, because I think that's the biggest thing that people don't understand. So we can go and do lobbying and stuff like that and say, look, we need support on this and this is this and this, we're really struggling as a sector like that. But actually having that heartfelt story from somebody who is on the high street that can tell you in layman terms, these are what my struggles are. This is what this point is where, you know what, if something doesn't happen, I'm really going to struggle as a business. But this is what we actually give back to the community. And that's those stories that will, you know, pull the MPs in. We'll get that respect in our sector, and it's about making that noise and really speaking about from the heart, because that's what we're good at. Yeah,
exactly. That is exactly what we're good at. We're very good at talking about our stories and navigating, like we said, navigating that emotion. But we are also really bloody good at business.
Absolutely.
So if we can get those stories across and balance both of those things, we're winning.
Because I am absolutely positive there's going to be some fantastic, you know, champions of our sector out there, and that's what we want to hear out. We want to hear about those unsung heroes, those people that are really at the coalface, you know, doing that side of things, which would be absolutely great. So another thing from me, environmental and sustainability. So
absolutely.
I know we've had a conversation before, so can you tell me a little bit more about your...
So I would just say, like, I'm really into like human rights and things, and basically I joined Greenpeace when I was like 13 and my mum was like, Ash, you're too young to go to Greenpeace meetings. But it's been something that's kind of been inbred in me. Like, I've been interested in this for so many years, and when it comes to our industry, I think we don't sit and recognize the waste and what we're kind of giving or not giving back to our planet, I should say. And it's just something that people have to navigate tentatively, because if you try to take sustainability on as one massive thing, it becomes a lot. And there is so much grey area within sustainability. And people like tick lists. People like to kind of go, if I do this, then I'm being more sustainable, and then I can do this, and then I'll be even more sustainable. And whereas actually sustainability, you don't end up doing 10 steps and magically becoming sustainable. And also, we all have to kind of understand that within the society that we live in, unless we were to go live in the woods, we're not going to be like 100% sustainable.
Absolutely.
So it's always just trying to do your tiny little bit as and when you can. And I think there is so much going on right now within everyone's businesses that sometimes it can become an extra struggle and an extra thing you have to think about. Whereas actually, if you can try and incorporate it from the get-go, so it doesn't become this extra thing, because actually if we don't start recognizing it and start fixing it, then, I mean, so many reasons. The young people coming in, it's their future. So one of the things that they're going to stop coming into our industry because we're not recognizing the sustainability factors of our industry and working on that to make their future better, because we want them to have really long careers, and they're not going to have really long careers on a burning planet. It's just how it is, sadly. But also, we aren't going to have businesses that look the same in like 20 years unless we actually pivot and fix things now. And we're going to have more of the likes of COVID. We're going to have more flooding. We're going to have more of these things that are damaging our businesses on a day-to-day basis right now in the future, if we don't start looking at how we as an industry are dealing with our waste, dealing with our electric, dealing with our water, looking at how we as individual salons and studios and hairstylists can become our own micro circular economies. Like, we want to be able to not become fully net zero. I mean, that would be lovely, but just individually recognize how we can start doing tiny steps. And I think if we all do tiny steps, big things happen. I remember, like, when I was on the board on the fellowship under Bruno, I mean, I've always been very mouthy on the board and been like, we need to be doing this, we need to be doing this. And I remember Bruno saying to me once that it's small ripples that make waves. And that's how I always kind of think of things now. And if every single salon was just thinking, oh, I could put my hair in the plants instead of going to landfill, I could do these tiny little things, all those little ripples around the country would make these huge waves.
Absolutely.
To make it better for the next generation.
Yeah, it is. And we've spoke about this before because we've obviously got resources and you guys have got resources, and, you know, it's like pulling this all together to make sure that we can do it. We've also said, you know, it's a lottery where you live regarding recycling and stuff like that. It really is. And it's just, and it's such a shame, but it's just those little steps. And if I can go out and say, well, look, have you thought about doing this? Or have we got stuff on the website that, and you can do the same, and others in the sector, that's how those ripples happen.
100%.
And then businesses can look and go, actually, that's just an easy, simple thing I can do and I can apply, and that's great, and that's just one little extra bit as part of that. And to me, that is phenomenal. That's how it should work. It 100%. Really is.
And I think, like we said, like we're such the heart of the community that as soon as we start doing those shifts, other businesses around you start doing it, your clients start doing it. The amount of clients that I have that come into me now and say, oh, I always think of you when I recycle now, Ashleigh. And it's so lovely that I've reached all these people, and then they're going to reach more people because they're going to talk about it to their friends and their friends.
Well, you
and
can
their
just
friends.
see that big conversation in the salon. I mean, when I was in the salon, that's what we used to do. Used to be one person started, oh yeah, I do that, and you know, have you not thought about doing that? And did you know that the local, you know, ways do this? And that's how the conversations come out. And a salon is an absolutely fantastic.
We're the best hub to grow goodness into the world, aren't we?
Absolutely. A huge thank you to Ashleigh for, you know, speaking to us and being so candid and so passionate about our sector is absolutely fantastic. What I'd say to anybody who's listening into this podcast to really look at the NHBF website, particularly our Respect Our Sector campaign, and really look how you can actually get involved. And if you're thinking about having a career in the hair and beauty sector, then please look at our website and, you know, the fellowship website, because we've got loads and loads of information on there and it can take you anywhere.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been an honour to be on here chatting to you. It's been lovely talking about my career and just how much I love this industry. Respect Our Sector is such an important push, and I just want everyone to get behind it. The fellowship's behind it with you, and please all kind of come together as a community. This is our time. This really is our time.